Listen, this is something that I would tell anybody that is trying to get down to brass tacks here. Before we go any further, you know, the stuff that I'm gonna tell you, some of it sounds crazy, you know? Like, I know what it sounds like. Some of it is stuff that used to make me cringe when people say stuff like, you know, about, you know, oh, well, you know, that's how the devil works or whatever. That stuff used to make me laugh. Or when people used to say, oh, well, God was trying to tell me something, and I'm like, yeah, okay, clown. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're an exterminator. I'm highly doubting God's trying to get a hold of you. But now that this stuff has been revealed to me, you know, I'll just tell you, nothing on here. You have to trust me when I tell you that I'm not telling you this stuff. Listen, this isn't the Joe Rogan podcast. I'm not telling you disinformation. I'm telling you information. You know, I'm telling you stuff that I was blessed and able to receive as the truth. And it has nothing to do with, I'm not selling anything. I don't get anything out of you, you know, believing that, you know, no one went to the moon, or believing that the earth is flat. I don't get anything out of any of that. I don't, other than, you know, believing that, you know, we didn't come from an explosion. Like, I'm telling a friend, she's driving across the United States, and I said, what is your prayer life like? Because this is what happens. She's like, well, why? What do you mean? I go, well, I've just got a feeling that you've been trying to reach out to God or whomever you believe in, but I'll just tell you, like, you're going about it wrong. And she'll be like, well, what are you talking about? And I go, you're just being too formal. You just need to talk to him like me and you, and like we're talking right now. You don't have to, you know, there's no rosary, there's no, you know, whatever, just talk. He knows who you're talking to, you know, he's the one. You know, he didn't create any other gods to answer the phone and work in his telemarketing firm. You know what I mean? There's no answering service in heaven. If he can make all this stuff, you know, I'm sure that he can, you know, get your phone calls. So I told her, you know, what I call a word. I got a word for her. I go, there's something going on with you that underneath the surface, I can tell that you have a really big question, and I don't know exactly what it is, but you've been kind of hesitant about praying about it. Is that true? And she's like, yeah, I have. I go, well, when you're driving across the country next week, you're gonna have an epiphany, okay, when you get into like the desert area, okay, and you're gonna get your answers. It might not be on this trip, but your answers are gonna come shortly after. But you have to be, and this is what I tell people, you have to trust. You have to be open to, like, I know it's, listen, you know, I went to a church and people laid hands on me, and all of a sudden I could speak in tongues. What do I get out of telling anybody that? What do I get out of it? It would be, if you were ashamed of it or younger, it would be embarrassing. But I'm just telling you that there is a supernatural realm. There is a hotline, there is a connection, there is a radar, there is a signal, there is some kind of static electricity emoting from him. Do you know what I mean? That you can tap into if you know, I don't want to say you got to have your shit together, because it's not, I don't know what you got to, I kind of know what you got to do, but you have to be open to it. And so I tell people this all the time. Listen, before we go any further, anything that I'm going to tell you about there not being satellites, or that, you know, like, what are you looking for in your life? We can figure this out and you can get there. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to go your whole life and wish that you lived this way or that way, or, you know, like, so many people, like, are afraid to pray, and that's a big stumbling block, is pride, and they're afraid to, like, do that because they're gonna look foolish. And don't get me wrong, I was there before myself. You know, but I'm just telling you what is going to happen. You know, you can completely change your destiny, okay, if you open up your heart and you are able to just let that positivity in and receive the message. And everybody's got intuition on different, wavelengths. Sometimes people don't know. Like, I didn't know when I was younger what exactly. Now I know what it is. Now I don't worry about stuff. Now I just go with my gut, and I'll know if I'm getting a signal about this, or like I'll get a signal like I did for this friend, like, hey, I know you're driving, you're gonna go through the desert, da 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 da. I got a signal. I lost my brother last year around this time. And was it last year? No, it was the year before. It was the year before. 2 years he's been dead. God told me, go over to your brother's house from Niagara Falls to Buffalo, go through all the traffic, go over the Grand Island Bridge, sit in fucking traffic for an hour in construction, and tell him you are not to leave and move to California, because you will not be alive that much longer if you go. And I said, man, that's kind of crazy. I mean, am I making this shit up in my head? And God told me, don't put this off. So I went over there, okay? I went over there and told him, Dave, listen, dude, this is a bad idea. I'm just telling you right now. I'm not going to be able to help you. If you go out there, da-da-da-da-da, it's not a good idea. I'm telling you, God's telling me to tell you. And, my brother was a spiritual dude, but he wouldn't listen to me. He hugged me. I said, I'm never going to see you again alive, okay? I'm not going to see you. The next time I see you, we won't be in these bodies, okay? We will not be in this form, okay? And he's like, man, you're trying to scare me. And I said, no, I'm not scaring you. I'm just telling you, man. I'm telling you, fucking trust me. And that's why I say to people, trust me with your life, what I'm about to tell you. I'm not telling you because I want to fucking control you. You know what I mean? I'm telling you because divine intervention is telling me to tell you this. And a couple months later, it was Christmas time. I was in outpatient in a meeting, and I was in front of I know exactly where. I can tell you where I was when the feeling came over me. I was riding my bike in the snow in circles in front of me and my soon-to-be ex-girlfriend's house, and I was gonna ride the bus or ride the bike through Delaware Park, and I just had this fucking feeling of dread that this was gonna be the worst Christmas ever, and I couldn't shake it. And I literally texted my dad, I want you to know that this is going to be the worst Christmas you've ever had in your life. And I don't know why I'm telling you this, but I got a feeling something's about to happen. And my dad's like, fucking knock it off. Don't say that negative shit. And da-da-da-da. 2 days later, I got a call while I was in an NA meeting, and my dad's like, your brother's dead. And I never found out how or why. I don't talk to my parents anymore. But I'm telling you, I don't fuck around with this shit. I'm not fucking around with it. Listen, I don't have a book on fucking cassette for you to listen to. I'm just telling you, this shit that I'm telling you is shit that Joe Rogan would tell you if he was a good guy. Joe Rogan knows that there's a creator, okay? He's not a dummy. Joe Rogan knows that we're not on a fucking spinning ball, but he has chosen to deceive you. Do you know what I mean? Like, what do you think he looks like, every fucking guy with the tattoos and da-da-da? Because he needs to blend in and be one of us, for you to be fucking paying attention to him. He needs to be cool, okay? I'm telling you shit that's the truth, that's not cool. And I'm just telling you, like, before we go any further, like, yo, any of you guys haven't, like, I'm not trying to be a popular YouTuber. If I was, I wouldn't be talking about spirituality and I wouldn't be talking about God. But I'm telling you right now, before we go any further, if you have any questions and you want to talk to me about it, feel free to hit me up. You can message me on Messenger. I'm Brian Frumps. You can message me on here. Or maybe this is too much for some of you and you don't want to follow anymore. That's fine too. But I'm telling you, we are going to start diving into some real shit. Okay, coming up into the new year. We're not fucking around anymore. We're gonna take the gloves off and we're gonna dive deep. Things are gonna come, and we're just gonna call it as it comes. So I'm just letting you guys know before we go any further. I'm not telling you anything to bring any kind of fame or glory or money or financial shit or sponsors or anything to myself. Okay? I'm trying to be as real, even if it's embarrassing for me to do it. I'm gonna try to be, I'm not gonna try, I am. I'm gonna be as real as possible, okay? Like, I wasn't always a fucking cat person. I used to tell my one girlfriend, Dana, she's a fucking doctor now, she hates my guts. I used to tell her, well, does your cat have to come on the bed? Like, can't you train your cat to not come on? And she looked at me like I was retarded, and now look at me. Do you know what I mean? So, I've been up since fucking 4:30, 5 o'clock. This is a fucking light. My friend from this black girl came up to me at work and said, hey, I got a light for you. I see you riding your bike. And she's like, I think you need to have this light. And then I found the vest at a construction site on the ground. So that's the light. It's got the red too for, you know, Morse code. So anyways, hit me up. You can get me on Messenger, or you can get me on here. If you want to talk to me in private, message me on Brian Frumps, Frumps.